What's up, guys? This is Ninja on the Ninja. And basically, I'm small because I'm going to make a video about a person I made a few videos about. Ta-da! So, she reminds me of a girl I used to be with. But, I kind of miss that girl. I wish she didn't have the history she did, or else I would have made it work. But she's gonna grow up alone now, so sucks for her. Cause she's just a shitty person, and she has no idea how to be. And her ex is Y, and I hope it's not the same with this girl. But yeah, anyways, I haven't watched this. I don't know. But we'll see. And the reason why I'm making this is because I've seen two videos of hers before, and she was wrong, like dead wrong. And so I found another one popped up, so I was like, fuck it. And I've had it there, never watched it. I'll finally watch it and finally respond to it. But here we go.
Last week, I talked about a new study that showed that American conservatives hate science. They distrust all of science, even those fields that ostensibly support their own worldview. Today, I would like to talk specifically about one of those fields, ecology and conservation.
Alright, so before you get into it, they hate those fields because they're sheep. And the conservatives are trying to make them as stupid and gullible as they can so that they can keep on absorbing money from them, basically. So they're not smart enough. They keep on putting money under the pillow for safety, but you keep on taking 10% of their whatever was there. You take 10% of it and just walk away. And they're fine, like a bank, basically. They feel like it's okay and safe to put into a bank for safe holding, but they don't realize they're being fucked. You know what I'm saying? That's basically the Republican Party and Trump is basically doing, is they're trying to set it up so you can be fucked and not realize it.
I know that many people might be surprised
And I say that because the Republican Party is kind of intertwined in that, so
to hear
a little bit on the left too.
that conservatives should like ecology and conservation. I grew up with Captain Planet, where a diverse team of teen
Captain Planet, he's a hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. I remember the song.
where a diverse team of teenagers have special rings that give them the power to save the environment. And today that does
I may or may not have seen it. I don't like you. Maybe.
seem super liberal. I mean, this one kid's power is heart, for fuck's sake. But I also grew up in a very
Hot. That was a pretty good point. Um, and there was a reason as to why, or okay, like his ability wasn't really like it was more a metaphor than an actual thing. Sorry, I'm clearing the room a little bit. Um, and what I mean by that is kind of literally what it says, basically. Because she's talking about it as if it was an actual tangible thing. Um, but it isn't. Again, it's a metaphor. It's just a placeholder, something you can visualize and see, and so you can understand where they're coming from, and so you can think about it, basically. And it's hard to explain beyond that, really. I'm trying to dumb it down, and this has always been my problem. I can only dumb it down so fucking far. I mean, a problem with society. And real quick, what happens is you start thinking and you get disconnected from society, and that's kind of where civil war happens, and that's just kind of going on in America right now. But it's being created artificially and synthetically because we actually don't hate each other. We actually believe each other, and I think honestly, back in the day, that was the same thing. Like we fought because of slavery, but the only reason why people felt the way they did about it was because people kind of forced their opinions on it. And basically, that could be religion, essentially. Much like the crown, like they're trying to enforce, like the crown, as in kings and queens in England, they're trying to enforce themselves too much on you. And that's kind of what's going on the right. And I forgot what it was, but a long time ago, there was a video. I actually seen it because I was going to talk about it before. But he made it in that state. He made it required that you have the Ten Commandments posted somewhere in that room, basically. And so people can, put it in the corner like, fuck that. But the point is, it's there. And the reason why they want it there is because eventually it's going to grow and grow. And what's that? What's that? And it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but one day it's going to grow. And that's the idea. And in England, that's the same thing. It can be a good way to do something. But anyways, I'm brilliant. Ask me about it, okay? Talk to me and get me going, and you'll see.
Very rural area where the farmland was vast.
And real quick, I just gotta say, I ain't artificial. I ain't synthetic. I'm not forcing myself to be engaged in a specific thing. I do everything. I'm literally an everyman. So that whole like, oh well, he's not putting up a front, or he's not acting like a man, or he's not being manly. Don't. That's bullshit. Like, I'm real. I'm what you should be like. But because Christianity, because of the shit on the right and left, really, you're fucked basically. And most people are more common than not like me. Anyways, continue, lady.
And hunting and fishing were such popular pastimes that sometimes school would be canceled because deer season opened up on a weekday. And so, by necessity, the conservative population of mostly poorer white people kind of had to care about the environment. If people poached out of season, then there would be fewer trophies for everyone else. If a company dumped pollutants into the water, we couldn't safely eat the catfish and the blue crabs that we took out of the creek. And so back in the 80s and early 90s, conservation wasn't considered directly oppositional to conservatism, at least not everywhere. But big oil and other large industry lobbies were already hard at work to convince these hunters and fishers and farmers to vote against their interests by spreading the lie that anthropogenic climate change is a myth.
That's what Trumpism, that's what MAGA is. That's what they're doing with Christianity, is they're using it to get you to think backwards, essentially. Is they're sucking your dick, kissing your ass. Essentially, what they're doing to Trump is what they're doing to America. And America, as an idea, is pushing back, thankfully. But Trumpism and everything under Trump, because again, I think he's a Trojan horse. It's more like Steve Bannonism or Paul Ryanism, um, basically, just to name a few, uh, of the commanders, essentially, or the big thinkers and whatnot. Like people like me, essentially. It's just they find a way to just whatever, and they need fall guys so that they don't get in trouble. So, oh, no, I just work for Fox. No, But in reality, behind closed doors, he's the fucking Grand Wizard of the KKK. But anyways, um, The point is, I do have ADD. Holy shit, but I can stay on focus. Like, I'm thinking about it, my teacher, because I'm sitting here, like, fucking around with my fingers as I'm talking to you, and, like, I'm just, like, I'm really engaged, but I'm, like, fucking around and just not sitting still. And, you know what I mean? But I can, if I want to. I could sit there. I was brought up right.
And that it's actually authoritarianism for the government to protect our land, air, and waterways from multi-million dollar corporations. So here we are now in 2025. Republicans control every branch of the US government, perhaps to an extent beyond anything we've ever seen in the history of this nation, considering the additional powers that the Supreme Court and Congress have handed over to Trump's executive branch. And in the next few weeks, this Republican administration is going to destroy the agency protecting our air and water with far-reaching negative effects. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, has existed in one form or another since 1807, when Thomas Jefferson established the Survey of the Coast as the country's first and for a long time only scientific agency. Several agencies were eventually combined under the official title of NOAA in 1970 for better protection of life and property from natural hazards, for a better understanding of the total environment, and for exploration and development leading to the intelligent use of our marine resources, as proposed by Richard Nixon. Because, again, back then, this was an obvious bipartisan issue.
Real quick, you have to remember, it's not brought up through Richard Nixon. It's brought up by his party, his group, his affiliates. Much like Trump and Steve Bannon and Paul Ryan, you have to understand that with Trump comes all that mess too. I would like a drink with Trump. I would like to have dinner with Trump. But the problem is I have to do that bullshit as well. There's a lot more to it than what you're saying, basically. So yes, Richard Nixon was a bad man, but he probably was more reasonable, as in like he didn't want to do it, but people talked him into it. So he's like, fine. And now we're saying, oh, Richard Nixon did it. What the fuck? No, it makes perfect fucking sense. He just wasn't. And the same thing is with Trump and what's going on with Trump. He's not like kill all Mexicans or fuck immigrants or whatever. There's somebody that's like, hey Trump, kill all Mexicans, fuck immigrants, and he's like, maybe if I kill all immigrants and fuck all Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? Like it's coming from somewhere, and you're seeing proof. Like listen to me, people.
That clearly benefited everyone. Today, NOAA is one of the most prominent, one of the most important bastions of Earth science research in the entire world.
I really wish you were not reading from a paper so much. Like you are operating off of a script. You're a fake person. You literally are like her.
Can't even sit here and list everything they do. I'd be here all week, but it includes
because you keep on looking at the paper and you can't say it because you didn't write it down. That's why.
Includes observing and gathering data on our coasts and the oceans, the climate and the weather, providing that data to scientists for research purposes, as well as providing it to the general public, particularly warning the general public about the potential dangers of hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, algae blooms. They help protect endangered species and monitor our fisheries to be sure populations remain healthy and safe to eat, just to name a few things. If you'd like to know what they've done to improve your neighborhood lately, they have an interactive map that allows you to see some of their projects. For instance, near me, there's a wonderful spot for fishing that was devastated by invasive algae. So NOAA came in and cleaned it up and educated people to let them know how to safely dispose of their bait in order to keep the algae from coming back. If you're interested, run over and check out that map right now because it probably won't be there for long. As I mentioned previously, Project 2025 has called for NOAA to be destroyed, and so Trump has dutifully complied with his religious right masters. In the past few months, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has fired 1,300 people, which is about 10% of NOAA's total workforce. Many of those people were rehired and then fired again because efficiency. A few weeks ago, insiders managed to leak Trump's plans to go on to completely wipe out every scientific endeavor currently underway at the organization by eliminating the Oceanic and Atmospheric Research Office.
See, that's an exploitation of people because they don't pay attention. So they were fired, and it's like, and so okay, we fucked up, and they rehired him. People walked away, and they were refired, and no one got reignited again. They're fired. No, they're fired. You know what I'm saying? People walked away, but they're fired. That same it should be back. More so, in fact, you're out, Elon Musk. That's how America should be running right now. But because America sucks, and because of the food and the diet and medication, like I wouldn't be surprised if your food had sleeping pills, like you know what I mean, like they broke it and they powdered, and yeah.
NOAA will be completely dismantled, and it would take the U.S. back to the 1950s in technical and scientific skill, as put by Craig McLean, chief scientist at NOAA. One anonymous NOAA veteran who took an early retirement told The Guardian, "We can look at other countries that are actively making these mistakes, where they have air that's not breathable and water that's not drinkable. I think it's done. I think this is done. The enemies are in the gate. I don't see any indication so far of anyone stopping it. They're just letting it burn. I honestly don't understand how U.S. science will recover." Another NOAA veteran said that he resigned because the organization defied a collective bargaining agreement by forcing him to move from Montana to Seattle with 1 week of notice. As I noted last year, unionizing was the last desperate attempt scientists had.
So, if I were him, I wouldn't have quit. I would have just said, "No, I'm staying here," and continued working, basically. And I had to stop, and I had a moment because as I was zipping this up, this like sucked in. And I realized I actually zipped the string up too. But the point here, again, is what I would have done is I would have been like, "Fuck you, I'm not moving," and stayed right there, and I wouldn't have quit. The fact that you quit gave them an advantage because chances are they wanted you to move so you would quit, basically. No, he quit. We didn't fire him, he quit. You know what I mean? Gives them that kind of moment.
To protect themselves from a possible second Trump administration, and they've just decided to violate that bargaining agreement because not only are there anti-science fascists in the government, but Congress and the courts are either moving too slowly or not doing anything at all to stop them from shitting all over every last protection we have. The Guardian also notes that Brighton Shang, one of the Dogue children who flew to California to try to open up a water pump during the LA wildfires, has been made a senior advisor to the NOAA administrator. So yeah, that's super cool. Is that one Big Balls? It's like a boy band. I can't keep them all straight. I've referenced the destruction of NOAA.
Read your script more. Hey, you that joke that you wrote down that you read and you try to play off like you just spoke it, that wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. I'm glad you wrote it down.
And other videos as Trump is taking away our ability to know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, but it truly is so much more than that. Like, do you like salmon? I mean, eating them, sure, but even just knowing that this critical part of our ecosystem remains in place. Well, NOAA is the primary organization that gives Native American tribes the money that they need to fix the overfishing that white people did for the past century. And without that money, the Pacific salmon is fucked. Do you like having access to good?
At least, by the way. Well said. They're fucked. Fucked. FUKED.
It's made overseas? Well, it's not just the tariffs that are going to be making them more expensive. As ProPublica notes, NOAA's climate and weather data is what keeps those ships from sinking. Do you like local produce? NOAA's climate and weather data allows farmers to set their planting schedules for the best chance of a successful harvest. Hey, conservatives, do you like fucking war? NOAA's data is used to plan strikes and keep Navy ships from sinking. These cuts are going to be devastating, and it looks like it's happening in the coming weeks. I usually try to end these videos with a little tip on how, you can do things to improve the situation. And I do think it's still worthwhile to call your Congress critters and yell at them, if for no other reason than to, release some of your own anxiety. But I also usually suggest going out and building community. So with that in mind, I'll share a thing that I'm doing, which is setting up a weather station. Yeah, I know it's not going to save the Pacific
Yeah, show your teeth. Good job.
salmon, but it is.
Look at that smile. She's like, look at my teeth.
Yeah, I know it's not going to save the Pacific salmon, but it is kind of cool that there is a network of weather nerds out there that are continuing to gather data like temperature, sunlight, precipitation amounts, air quality, and then making that data freely available. A lot of you have said that you're too introverted to go out and build connections with your neighbors. So I think this is actually a really good option for you. You get to learn some technical skills.
Shut up. You're talking. Well, you're reading because you're an introvert. You too, if you're like her, are also an introvert. Problem was she was a slut, as a slut girl would be, but she was introverted, which makes no sense because she would be the ultimate wife if she wasn't a slut.
You crunch as much data as you want. You help out your neighbors, and you don't even need to leave your backyard. So that's something. Go have fun.
Sure. So, that seems to be it with her. But, yeah. She's a lady on the streets, but a freak in the sheets, basically. Which means she's going to be alone when she's 30 or 40 years old. Because they're going to look at her and be like, oh, you're not fuckable. I'm out. That's the whole fucking point. It's just to fuck you while you're young, fuckable, and hot. And then when you dress up like that, but when you actually look like that, like what do? Like you're not gonna give
Like
that to me. No. What I want to get is that, basically. And on top of all of that, you have the vagina of that, basically. So I get you like that with the vagina of that. It's like, what the fuck is the point? You're a dumbass and a whore. Why would I want you? If you were a dumbass and a virgin, at least fucking you would be good. So I wouldn't mind putting up with you. But because you're a whore, it's like, why? Like, man, dude. I'm not calling you a whore. She was a whore. I'm assuming you're a whore. But anyways, she's correct in this video. What she's saying is true. Noah, we need that. All of that shit, you gotta understand, Trump is bad. I'm pretty sure they're trying to take America and to crash and burn it so China and Russia can take over and become the kings and take over America because this is their opportunity. And they're doing everything now because literally we are the problem. America, like, I am destroying America as an American, that's what they are doing. They tricked people into destroying America. Civil War is literally around the corner, basically, at this rate. Like, California is going to be the fourth nation. Basically, we're going to set up our guard and be like, stay the fuck away. Like, America, no. No, we're just California, back off. And Mexico is going to join us. Basically. So it's going to be California and Mexico, right? We're all going to be just right there, and eventually we're going to have to take over the rest of the world to fix it because that's fucked up. This sucks. America, Trump needs to stop. Christianity needs to stop. They need to stop closing this shit down, and people need to step the fuck up. And the reason why they probably killed them because, like, if you think about it, back in the day, there were a lot of people in Congress that were loud and angry and yelling and screaming, but today, like, we're docile, and that's what's going on. So, but yeah, this video was a good one. She wasn't talking about some stupid ass bullshit about whatever. But yeah, if you're not a slut, call me, lady. Get in touch with me because I did it, but I don't like sluts. So if your vagina's gaping, I don't want it. But anyways, be well, be happy, be safe, be awesome, be supreme, sub cheese, quackadoodly, um, Godspeed, uh, the hell was that? If you're, what's it called, religious, that's fine. Mind your own business. Mind your business. Keep it over there. Shut up about it if you're gay, if you're trans, or whatever. There's only two sexes, by the way. There's only male and there's only female. And it starts with female and then male. It's XX and then we are the XY, apparently. So, that's it. And then I could talk to you about that, but anyway, not you, the lady that I hit, but, like, hit, not hit, but, the point is, that I will talk to the audience, chat. If you want, hit me up. So anyways, be well, be happy, be safe. I'm out, Godspeed, and later.